Hello everyone, my name is Paul and you're watching Roads and Rails Hobbies. In today's video, we will be taking a very close look at Gaaheri's brand new Advanced Series Seeker Airbrush. Alright folks, before we get into the review, I have to do a little housekeeping. I know it's horrible, but if you're like me, I'm sure a lot of you either skip through videos real quick or you get bored and boom, you're out. That happens, right? So, excuse me. I have two very important things that you really need to hear real quick. The first one is not important to you, but I have to say it, and that is Gaahleri did send this airbrush to me free of charge for me to review. I have to tell you that because I want to stay out of YouTube jail. Now, even though they sent this to me for free for my review, as always, this is my opinion, my honest review. They do not tell me what to say, and they never will ever tell me what to say. This is all me because I'm doing this for you. Second, and well, I guess third thing kind of go hand in hand. Gaahleri has sent me two links, and those links will be in the description down below. The first link is to Gaaheri's website, and there will also be a coupon code below that link that will get you up to 20% off on this airbrush if you want to purchase it. Now, I know some of you may not really know that much about Gaahleri, may not be comfortable buying through their website. I totally understand that. And Gaahleri understands that too. So as a thank you to you, my viewers, they gave me another coupon code for Amazon. So if you use my link down below and go to Amazon and use my coupon code that I will give you in a minute. I didn't put it in the description. I know I'm sneaky, but I got to keep you on this platform just a little bit longer. And you can get up to 25% off. So you'll save more to go to YouTube. Or YouTube. We're on YouTube. To go to Amazon. I do my videos in two parts. The first part will be us checking out this airbrush close up. I will tear it apart, we'll look at all the parts and pieces, and just see how well made this airbrush truly is. After that portion of the video, I will promise you, I will give you that coupon code for Amazon. That part of the video will go relatively quickly. The second part of the video, what I like to do with anything that I review, I like to put it through its paces, which means I'm going to use it. And no, I'm not going to paint spoons like so many people do. So I will be painting from the beginning to the end a little car like this. Now, don't worry, I'm not doing a 45, 50-minute long tutorial on how to paint something like that. I have videos on my channel for that, and I will continue to make videos for that. For this review, I will take little snippets of each step of the painting process, just so that you can see that I'm using this airbrush, painting whichever vehicle I'm going to be painting. And at the end of that painting session, I will show you the finished product and you can see for yourself just how well this airbrush works or doesn't work. Well, let's get started on this review. Again, this is the Gaahleri Advanced Series Seeker Airbrush. And if you'll notice, this comes with both a 0.3 and a 0.5 needle and tip set, which is pretty awesome because that opens up the gamut of different viscosities of materials that you can use with just one airbrush. So real quick, here again is the box. It tells you they can do extreme detail, fine, medium, wide, and extra wide. Well, it's because you've got two different size needles in there. Gaaheri's Seeker Airbrush, newly upgraded micro air channel system, drop-in self-centering nozzle, 1/3 ounce detachable smooth cup, a 0.3 and 0.5 millimeter, two replaceable nozzle sets, unique clam island body design for enhanced comfort. Now, I'll show you what that means in just a minute because they have that on one of their other airbrushes I reviewed a while back, and it's something I really, really like. Again, just says Gaahleri in the picture of the airbrush, but on the back here is pretty cool. You have an entire breakdown of all the parts and pieces and components, and they name everything. They're not giving you numbers to refer to, they just give you the names. This is important because unlike many of the airbrush companies out there, I shouldn't say airbrush companies, many of the airbrushes that you see on Amazon, the really super cheap ones, you know, the ones that have 5 million different names for the same type of airbrush, they have no support. They have no websites, and they most definitely do not have parts support. Gaahleri, as I mentioned in the beginning, they have a full-blown website like any of your major brand airbrush companies, and guess what? You can buy replacement parts for all the airbrushes. That's pretty amazing. That means they're here to stay, guys. This is not a fly-by-night company like so many other ones that I've reviewed in the past, or iffy companies. Gaahleri is not. They are definitely becoming one of the big fish in the pond. Okay, now we've looked at the box, let's look at the airbrush. When you first open up your box, you are greeted with a little card here that just tells you about their stringent tests before leaving the factory. And if you find actual issues with the product, no need to return it. Simply contact them and they will make it right. And it's telling you here, just real quick, how to change and install your needle and tip set. And it's just, it's pretty nifty. And it's just like a little quick start guide and a little, hey, welcome to us. And here's where you can find them at on all the different social medias. And here is what would at first would appear to be extremely thick instruction pamphlet. However, Gaahleri is a worldwide company and they have this in multiple languages. Again, assembly instructions, a little bit of spraying tips to see what's, if your paint's too thick, if it's perfect, too thin. It's a nice little primer, I guess. And it's just 2 little pages. Then it goes on to all the other languages that Gaahleri supports. Pretty nifty. And of course we have our little protection, and here is the airbrush itself. And oh boy, for the price of this airbrush, you are getting an absolutely gorgeous airbrush. Just take a look at this thing. And man, oh man, this is your adjustment for your set flow, your airflow, your paint set. This is your set screw back here. Okay, guys, I'm losing my words today. I'm sorry. Anyways, it is super smooth action. It already comes with a melt end for a quick disconnect. If you don't have a quick disconnect, this simply unscrews like so, and you can just attach your air hose as normal. If you do not have quick disconnects, I strongly suggest you get some. They are super cheap and very, very convenient. So, like I said, beautiful airbrush. And when they were talking about that clamshell style, what they're talking about is this little cutout right here. And I tell you what, at first, on the other airbrush that I reviewed for them, I was a little concerned because I'm used to a round body. And I was worried that this might, make like hot spots on my fingers from holding it for a while. But you still have the roundness on the side, but you have the perfect spot to rest your thumb. Whether you're a lefty like me or a righty like most normal people. I shouldn't say normal. I'm normal too, I think. Anyhow, I absolutely love that design, and this airbrush feels so, so good in the hand. And, well, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's no tools in here because you don't need tools to take apart this needle and tip set. It literally comes apart just this easily, which is also a very nice thing. And here is the paint cup. Let's put it on. Something I want to try. Now, I have played with this, so I know what it's going to do, but a good quality product, let me zoom out just a little bit here. A good quality product is going to have very tight machine tolerances, and you should not have squeaking or grinding when assembling or disassembling your airbrush. So I'm going to attach the paint cup real quick, and let's just listen. I'll shut my mouth for just a minute. Nice and perfect and tight. And I'm going to do my squeaky scrunchy test for the removable handle here. Again, nothing. And this handle, boy, this thing's got some heft to it by itself. I don't know what the materials are. I'm not going to lie to you, but they are not lightweight materials. These are some hefty materials here. And you can, I don't know if you can, how well you can see in here. I mean, the thread is nice and clean and sharp. The same with the outside thread. And like I said, listen. I mean, perfect. If you've ever used a cheap airbrush, you know it's usually like squash, screech, scratch. It's horrible. But this is so nice. Another thing that sets us apart, that tells me that this is a quality airbrush, something that's my pet peeve with all the other inexpensive airbrushes I have, is the cap for the paint cup. Now, if you have an Iwata like I have, the caps, the paint cups are very good tight tolerances, and they fit on there, pressure fit perfectly. All the other less expensive airbrushes I have, so a lot of them I reviewed on this channel, either it's a very loose fitting cap and the cap will fall off. Let me zoom back in here just a little bit. Or they use threaded caps, or they have an O-ring in there to hold it on. Well, check this out, okay, guys. This is not falling off. I think you know where I'm going with this. Now listen. Did you hear that pop? And look, there are no O-rings. This is not threaded. This is machine fit. Perfect. And as I mentioned, look at how shiny and polished that paint cup is. This is important for several reasons. One, it allows paint flow much more smoothly, less turbulence. I'll get that word out eventually. And it is helps in cleaning. It makes it a lot easier cleaning this than if you have rough edges, as you can well imagine. But just the fact that I love that. I'm telling you right now, I know it's a small thing, but if you ever used an airbrush before that had a cheap cap and you set it down and your airbrush goes whoop, and your cap comes off and there goes all your paint, you'll know why I love that, because that's not going to happen with this airbrush. Again, great action, nice and smooth. The trigger, it's smooth and it works great. I'm used to trigger with a little bit of a concave in it, which is my preference. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with this. It's just my preference. But this thing is so smooth and feels so good. The only other issue that I kind of have is this paint cup, the angle at it. I have big hands. And I'm more of a hold it here kind of guy, which I can still do. But this really wants you to use your fingertip, which is fine. Just, again, preference. All right. We've looked at this beautiful airbrush. Let's look at what else comes in this kit real quick. You have a little baggie of O-rings in case any of these wear out. And I have never replaced O-rings in my life, so it's nice to have. You also have your other tip set. This is for the 0.5 millimeter needle. You still use the same protector. It's just the tip set for that. And here is your 0.5 millimeter. Oh, that's upside down. Needle. And in order to change these, I'm not going to take this out just yet. I will do that later. But in order to change this, it's very, very simple. Let me show you. You would literally just take the handle off again. Listen to that. It was so smooth. Break this nut loose here. Pull out your needle and very gently set this someplace safe. You don't want to bend that tip or it'll be ruined. Then you would take off your needle protector cap. Take off your other needle guide. This is the 0.3. You would attach, now let's pretend we got the 0.5 out, so we would just put this back on. And you want it nice and firm, snug. No tools, remember. Put your needle protector cap back on, nice and firm. Here's what I like to do. I like to use my finger as a guide. And very carefully, so I don't stab myself, slip that needle back in. Oops. You gotta watch that trigger that you don't let it fall out. Tighten your needle chucking lock nut down. Put your handle back on. And yes, being that this is an adjustable trigger, you have to make sure that, I don't know if you can see in there, you see a little round hole in there. You gotta make sure you get your needle down in there. Which I'm having a hard time hitting the hole. No jokes, guys. Anyhow, there we go. She is back together, ready to go, whether you have put your 0.5 or your 0.3 in. And that is it in a nutshell. This thing has some heft to it. I like heft. That means they're using some real metal, not some cheap stuff. This one feels like a high quality, this feels like an Iwata to me, as far as the heft and the weight goes. I mean, I absolutely love this thing, the way it feels. And it's just beautiful. It really, truly is. So this is what all comes in your Gaahleri Seeker airbrush kit. Well, airbrush, it's not actually a kit. But you get a lot of bang for your buck for this. Oh, and this is just a little protector, a little packaging protector. This review is for this airbrush. Again, the Gaahleri Advanced Series Seeker airbrush. And this is a very, very pretty airbrush. And as of the time of this, I do believe that this is being sold for $55.99 on both Amazon and Gaaheri's website. Again, beautiful, beautiful airbrush. Nice heft to it. Now let me show you something here that Gaahleri makes as well, just for comparison, not as a review. But this is their a little bit more higher end Mobius airbrush, and you'll notice this is a 0.2. This is more specialized airbrush for more of your fine, if you want some really super fine line airbrush painting. Same type of packaging as your Gaahleri Seeker here. Same similar body style. Let me get this out real quick. But I mean, you can see the family, right? Family resemblance, right? This thing here, this is the airbrush that made me fall in love with this brand, Gaahleri. I mean, this to me is top-notch airbrush. That's why I'm so happy to work again with Gaahleri, bringing this airbrush to market to show to all of you folks. This airbrush is a bit more expensive than this one. And this airbrush is, like I said, a little more specialized. This is more for your super fine details. You're not going to be airbrushing really thick pigments or thick paints through this airbrush. This is definitely your more general purpose airbrush, which, to be honest with you, I use this style of airbrush 10 times more than I use this. But my, oh my, this is a pretty one too. Okay, let's get this one out of the way because this review is not about this one. It is about that one. But hey, you know what? That review is on my channel for this airbrush, and I will leave a link to that in this video so you can check that one out too. I don't think there's much more that I can babble on about this airbrush. Now we need to test it out. And what I'm going to use to test out this airbrush, like I mentioned, is not going to be a bunch of spoons. It's going to be this little Hot Wheels here. This is a Porsche that I've already stripped. I've made some custom rims for it, 3D printed, which is kind of cool. But we're going to clean this body up just a little bit more with some files, and we are going to throw a multi-step paint job on this little Porsche and see how well this airbrush works. Now, as I promised, we are done with the first half of this review where we just looked at the airbrush. So here is the coupon code that saves you up to 25% off of Amazon if you use that link. I will put it right up here, and that coupon code is kind of strange, but bear with me. It is RLK8PB2G. Use that code at checkout and you can save up to 25% off of this brand new Gaahleri Advanced Series Seeker airbrush. Now, I hope you liked what you saw so far, and I hope you stay with me, and let's go put this airbrush through its paces. Now that we are ready for the painting portion of this review video for this Seeker airbrush from Gaahleri, first thing I want to do though is I want to show you the products I'm going to be using just in case you're interested in, well, getting some of these for yourself and how I do this. Again, this is not going to be a painting tutorial, but hey, it's always nice to know. First thing I'm going to be using is this auto-borne sealer from Createx. This is their Sealer Silver. It's got like a silver little glitter in it, I guess, or a flake, but it's very tiny. On top of that, I will be using their Candy 2.0. This is black, and I will be mixing that with some clear gloss. Now, these candies are not paints, these are pigments, so you have to have a carrier or a medium. Usually I use something different, but I want this to be glossy for what I'm trying to do today because I'm playing around with my paints. So we're going to be mixing that together, and I will be thinning that with some 4011 thinner. Now all of those will be painted on using the 0.3 millimeter airbrush needle tip set with this kit. After those are on and dry, I'm going to come back and I'm going to try this. This is something I've had for a gazillion years. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but this is their chameleon colors. And I know you probably can't see it, but this is chameleon blue. And it's got like a bluish, purplish kind of a tint to it. So I'm hoping over top of this black that's going to be gloss. When it hits the light just right, it's going to, maybe throw off some different colors, which would be kind of cool. And after that is finished, we will be sealing it all in with some 4053 high gloss. Again, these items will be thinned down with some 4011 reducer. And these two items, I will be using the 0.5 millimeter needle and nozzle tip set, just because these are thicker viscosity, well, stuff. Not, well, kind of paint and clear coat, so stuff, right? Okay, now I told you about that, let's start painting. So here are my final thoughts on this Gaahleri Advanced Series Seeker airbrush that comes with the 0.3 and the 0.5 millimeter needle and tip set. This thing rocks. I'm going to tell you right now, I've used a lot of airbrushes in my life, and my favorite has always been Iwata's. That's my golden standard for airbrushes, and I have an Iwata HPCS that has been my workhorse for many, many years. That may change with this airbrush. This airbrush works and feels just as good as my Iwata. Now, I've said in the past that some of the airbrushes I've used have been really close, but this one is it. I have become a Gaahleri convert. I'm going to tell you that right now. And the simple fact is that this airbrush comes in at $55.99 normal price. And like I said, if you use my coupon codes, you can get up to 20% off if you go buy it from the Gaaheri's website, and up to 25% off if you buy it through Amazon using my code that I've already given to you, actually. So it's going to bring that price down even more. Iwata HPCS, well, that airbrush was around $200 when I bought it. And this thing works as well as that one does with the 0.3. And this thing, of course, this Seeker, I should call it a thing, this Seeker airbrush outperforms my Iwata because it has the 0.5 millimeter needle and nozzle that comes with this, which means I can do more projects with one airbrush instead of having to have two. As a matter of fact, when I originally showed you the painting of that car, I showed you only 4 different steps that I was going to take. I had the primer, the black base coat, that chameleon paint, and then there's going to be a clear coat. Well, between that chameleon and the clear coat, I decided to try to shoot flake. It was a blue flake through this with the 0.5. Being a 0.5, and it did struggle just a little bit until I thinned it even more, actually, but it did it. I can hardly ever get my Iwata at the 0.3 to shoot that flake. I actually have a 0.8 that I use normally for flake, and I would continue to do that on a regular basis. However, if you didn't have that, this will do it. I was very impressed at how well this actually worked. It feels fantastic. The cap never loosened up, never came off the paint cup. I mean, I can't say anything more about this other than the fact that, yeah, I'm going to be sticking with Gaahleri. As a matter of fact, they have some of their higher end airbrushes, and if this is any indication of what their more expensive ones are, Gaahleri, please send me one of your higher end airbrushes, I want to check it out. Because these things are pretty awesome. You guys make some really great products. So yeah, go buy one. If you're just starting out, if you need a second airbrush, if you want an airbrush that gives you more opportunities of different types of medium you can use because of the interchangeable needles and nozzles, this thing does it so well. And as you saw the pictures of the little car I painted, it came out absolutely beautiful. And as a matter of fact, as I just mentioned, I was able to do every single coat on that car with one airbrush, when in the past I've always had to use at least two airbrushes. So if you're thinking about it that way, and the fact that this airbrush is under $60 normal price, you're going to be saving a lot of money if you're going to get into painting things with different thicker viscosities and thinner viscosities, etc., etc. Okay, I've gone on long enough. Like I said, this airbrush rocks. It's a fantastic, high quality made airbrush. I have found nothing wrong with it. Just, it's awesome, guys. And as always, thank you for your time, and God bless and take care, everyone.